Today we're going to be doing a rack and pinion on a Subaru Legacy. This is the regular Legacy with power steering. You know you have power steering because you'll have a place for power steering fluid. I think most of them will be power steering equipped. The rack and pinion, when it's out of the vehicle, looks like this. You have your inner tie rods contained within the boot. You have nice boots that are sealed. No contaminants will get in. And there's no outer tie rod ends. And you've got plugs here and here that point down where we'll be putting the lines on later. So when it's in the vehicle, there's a couple things that you have to do to get it out. The part of the Subaru that you use to jack the car up, you'll have to take that off. I'll show that in a minute. And you'll also need to take off the lines, both the pressure line and the return line. This is the pressure line from the pump, and this is the return line. Notice the high pressure fittings here and the low pressure hose clamps here. So these lines, they go in parallel along the engine compartment and are together here, and then they go down to the rack at this point. You can see that there's fittings and unions down here, both for the pressure and the return line. Now the lines attach to the rack on the driver's side, but they descend down here on the passenger side. This is to make it easier to do the job servicing it. So you want to clean these off. What I like to do is I'll spray them with a penetrating oil. My preferred brand is PB Blaster, and then I'll take a wire brush, like a toothbrush, it's a wire brush, and I'll brush those off and then spray it again and let it soak a little bit. If you have these fittings so that they are clean, they'll come apart really easy without any stripping. If they're not clean, meaning free from rust and dirt and debris, you risk getting contamination in your power steering system, which can cause you to lose your pump and your new rack and pinion that you've installed. So be sure to clean things up before you take it out. So once you have those lines off, the next thing to do is to take the wheels off and take your tie rods out. I'll show you that a little bit later. And then I'll also show you underneath some other things to pull. To save myself editing time so that I can produce more videos on vehicle specific things, I'm just going to try to do most of this in one shot. As you can see, this boot's been painted red. I marked it previously when I diagnosed that the rack was leaking and also that the inner tie rod here was bad. You can see that there's a little bit of play here. When I wiggle this back and forth, I get movement without the steering wheel moving. So here's where the lines come in from above. These are the fittings that we're going to clean up and then take apart. And then once we get those out, the rack's really simple to come out of this. The steering knuckle, or the union, is right up here. It's just that single bolt. You can see the end of it here. You can't see the hexagon part, but see that black cylinder on the back of the motor, a little oil plug? That's where the bolt is, and you just need to loosen that and then take a pry bar. You can use a pry bar to pry that off. Prying again, no, not on that one. You want to go underneath the CV axle here. All I'll do is I'll take a pry bar or something long, I'll just kind of tap it. It's usually a good idea to make a mental note of where the rotation is, so that when you put it on the new rack, that will be centered when you get it. It saves you a bunch of alignment time. You want to make sure that you have equal distance on this side to the end of the inner tie rod end, as well as on this side, so that you know that you're centered. And it's usually a good idea to secure the steering wheel too. This is the support bracket that you'll need to pull off to get it out. Let me show you where the lines go into the rack. The lines go in an up position. Let me see. Like there's that one up there, it's covered in dirt, and then the other one you can't even see, but it wraps around from behind. You want to take those lines off when you get the rack out of the car and transfer the lines to the new one so that it all goes smoothly. The bracket to pull it down is just this bracket here. I got two 14mm bolts and then another one that's just like it on the other side of that lift bracket. or I don't know what you call it, lift bracket, guard bracket. It's a multi-purpose device, but it'll also need to come off, just 4 12mm bolts. So once you have all of that taken out, you just take your tie rods out, and the whole thing will just kind of slide down and out. Sometimes you will need to pull the exhaust and let it hang down a little bit. Generally you won't have to remove it completely. If you do, you'll need to soak these in penetrating oil. You can either remove it at this point before the catalytic converter, that's the hard way, or the easier way is to remove the bolts back here. As much rust as you have here, you'd need to replace the flange gasket if you do that. That's why I oftentimes tend to want to hang it down. To hang it down, you'll just need to remove this one bolt right here, and you'll be able to get enough hang. Just make sure that you don't pull excessively on your oxygen sensor wire that you have back here, or it can become chafed on a heat shield and create a short. So that's how you do it. And before you do any of the tear down, I should put this at the beginning of the video, but straighten the steering wheel and just kind of look at where the alignment is. See the disappearing point, how the tires, it's kind of the same. I'm looking at this surface of the tire here. I'm also looking at this surface. I look for when they eclipse and what's behind the rest of the car at the time of that eclipse, so that I know that the angle's the same. These are aligned pretty much without a lot of toe in or toe out. So you always want to get it close so that you can drive it to the alignment shop without tire damage. So I'll go ahead and get the rack out and show you a little bit more. This is what it should look like when you're going to pull the rack out. I've got the exhaust hanging down. It's still hanging in the hanger back there. I've got everything disconnected. An important note, I've got the steering stabilizer. This used to go above it. And so what I've done is I've undone the 12mm bolt and nut through each side, and I've turned it up. It's a little bit counterintuitive maybe, but I've done that, and I fished this clear up from behind so that it's down. So it's just sitting in the exhaust. Be careful when you pull these out that you don't chew up the O-rings. And what you want to do is you want to rotate this. You want to pull it forward and rotate the top toward the back of the car, and then you'll be able to clear this shaft to get it out. Just pull it out like that. Swing it around. Knock the light. And turn it upside down like this, and just let it drain for a little bit. Now, as I said, these are going to be pulled out here in a minute, and we're going to transfer these lines onto the new one. Actually it's this one and this one, not these two, sorry. Just this one and the one on the front side. So I'm going to spray those with a little penetrating oil and let them soak for now. Can you even see what I was just saying? Probably not. It's this one here that's going to come off. Just follow the two big fat lines. Spray this with penetrating oil. These strip really easy, so make sure that they're good and soaked in the penetrating oil. Make sure you have the right size wrench. Do not use pliers or a crescent wrench or something that can round those off. Crescent wrenches, you can do it, but make sure it's really, really tight on there before you do anything with it. Line wrenches or crow's foot wrenches are best. What's a crow's foot wrench? That's a crow's foot wrench. I've got another video describing them and where they're available. So I've got the rack out. I've really soaked these banjo bolts, or whatever you call them, hydraulic fittings, in penetrating oil. Now, as I unscrew them, you know, it seems like it gets harder and harder as they come out. If they kind of get stuck, work it back and forth, really wiggle it. That allows the penetrating oil to get in there better. And just be real careful with them as you take these out. If you're going to mess this up, it's going to be on stripping one of these hydraulic fittings, one of these line bolts. I wish I had better vocabulary at the moment. Due to the lack of sleep from kids in the night. I don't. That, and I stay up late because it's so peaceful and nice and quiet in those late hours. Anybody else ever experienced that? It's like, wow, there's no noise. I can actually get something done. Nobody's calling me. My phone's not ringing. So, anyway, you get the idea. The other ones, this one's a 17mm, by the way, the one that's up at the top here, and the lower one here's a 14mm, and they're just the same thing. This one you can actually get a line wrench or something like that on. The 17 millimeter you can't. You can only get an open end wrench. See, this one got stuck, so I'll wiggle it and then back it off a little bit more. You don't want to just force it through, because if you force it through, you're going to chew up the threads and it's going to be hard to get it into the old one. Hopefully the remanufactured unit that you buy, somebody was this kind and considerate and insightful, is to go a little, spray a little, go a little, work a little. Sounds like that My Fair Lady show when the women are talking, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheap, 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 and the guys kick in, good night, ladies. See, now this is coming out really easy. I'm spending a lot of time on this, but if you're going to screw it up, like I said, this is where you're going to do it. Once you get these lines out, there's one more bolt to get that secures these lines to this unit. The new unit will come with new O-rings for these. It'd be wise to use those. So let me show you where the other bolt is. Obviously I got this one out. There we go. So where the other bolt is just where these come together right there. I believe it's a 10 millimeter. Yeah, it is. So you just pull that out. Lay your new one out alongside of the old one so that you have the correct orientation, and you'll have a real good swap. You'll pull the brackets off after you get the line off, and then just make sure to put the brackets on in the same way first before you put the line onto the new one. I think this is all the information you need to do the job correctly. You may want to look at my video how to do a quick and dirty alignment on your truck. You can find that on my channel by clicking my name below, Brian's Mobile One, and then click on videos, click all, and then it'll give you a search option where you can search the videos in there. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button or add to down arrow favorites, and you can access it easily later. You ever go to watch a video and you can't find it? There's all these videos of like people's cats and everything else. It's hard to find again. So anyway, that's one easy way to find it. Add to down arrow, and it'll do a drop down arrow, and you can save it to favorites. You can create your own little category even. Like I have one on my channel for dance music that I want to save. You can save one to auto parts or whatever. It's a pretty cool feature. So thanks for watching. Cheers. It's upside down for a reason. That's just the way I feel about it at the moment. Got everything started up, and sure enough it's leaking from one of the lines that they put in. That's frustrating. You pay the money so that you don't have these kind of problems, to have somebody else rebuild it, not to pay to have to clean up their leaks and have to redo their work. I've had a lot of good experience with the company, but I've had more than what I feel is appropriate of this sort of thing. Customer supplied this part.